What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer taking a look at the new archetype Labyrinth, which is a cool name. And the artwork looks pretty cool too from first impressions. I have no idea what these cards do or anything. It's gonna be my very first impression, and we'll see what happens. This is Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. That's a really cool name. It's unfortunate that it's probably not going to be kept. But alright, it's a Fiend effect monster, level 8. Kind of weird, but okay, let's see what happens. This might be the boss monster, although it looks like there's multiple level 8s. You can only use the second and third effects of this card once per turn. Your opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to the activation of your normal traps, which is interesting because obviously I think the entire archetype has to do with traps, which could be a good or bad thing, I suppose. Trap cards seem to be pretty much back into the zeitgeist of Yu-Gi-Oh! Minds. Like, there was a while where nobody was playing trap cards, now people are playing them again. It's kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works. It's a flip-flop effect, but this doesn't say Labyrinth traps or Labyrinth normal traps. It says normal traps in general, meaning that, yeah, looks like hashtag normal traps are going to be protected. It's only monster effects, which is kind of bizarre, but otherwise your opponent's going to be playing like Solemn Strike or something, or Solemn Judgment, I should say, which is completely fine. Monster effects covers 90% of the way that normal traps are negated anyways. Okay, but you can target, and the cool thing is actually is that your opponent can't. It's not more about negation. Your opponent just can't activate anything in response. They can activate monster effects. Could be for something completely different, but yeah. Okay. In any case, the second effect, you can target one normal trap in your graveyard, set it to your field, but it cannot be activated unless you control a fiend monster. Very generic. This is a very generic archetype from the very first card. So again, the more generic, the better. If an effect monster leaves the field due to your normal trap effect, you can destroy one card your opponent controls or one random card in their hand. Okay, well, for a second, the first thing I'm thinking of is more normal traps. I'm thinking of trap tricks. How you get this guy, this girl, or this card. It's a card. It's a piece of plastic, or a cardboard, I should say. Whether or not it's a boy or girl. But I'm thinking trap trick. Those are plants, not fiends, which is a bit unfortunate. It'd be kind of cool if this was a plant archetype for some reason, but I can kind of understand that. But if you do bottomless trap hole, then you get to force them to go -1. And of course, bottomless trap hole is searchable in trap tricks or normal traps. So that's pretty wild. I mean, that's obviously very good. There's so many applications. They're dark, meaning dark layer decks. You can tribute monsters and stuff like that. What happens if you tribute? You have Layer of Darkness on the field. You tribute using what is that stupid card called? It destroys all spells or traps your opponent calls by tributing a dark monster. And of course, your opponent's monster will all be dark with Layer of Darkness. It's like Epidemic Virus or something. Epidemic. I can't see my keyboard the way I have this right now. That looks like a word. Yeah, this is it. So I forget what the requirements are, but obviously all of this stuff comes into play. These are normal traps too. Deck Devastation Virus is a normal trap. Tribute one dark monster with 2,500 or more attack. So 2,500 is kind of hard, but not too bad. But, I mean, the more I'm thinking about this, the more things that you can really do. Although Layer of Darkness, I'm assuming, is going to be the prevailing thing here. And what is that stupid card called that she searches 3 traps? Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Database. It's called something, obviously. I think it's called Lily. I always use Yu-Gi-Oh! YGO Pro deck. I think the database for the regular website is terrible. Lily? I don't remember if it's that or not. Okay. In any case, I think it's like called your opponent at your opponent. Anyways, I won't be able to look at it, but it's the card that Layer of Darkness uses every single time. I feel like if I look up normal trap, actually, it'll actually take me somewhere. I won't have spent too much time on this, but it is an important factor in all of this, because not that many cards obviously say the word normal trap in them, and I know that card's in there. And it looks like the Labyrinth cards are already in the deck, or in the database, which is pretty neat. And maybe that's what... Oh, it is it's Lilith, not Lily. I was close. If it's normal summon, its original attack becomes 1,000. Quick effect, you contribute one dark monster. reveal 3 normal traps from your deck. So, I mean, obviously this card's going to be used in it. And maybe this is just support for that inadvertently anyways. But that was the first card. I was just... I'm trying to go as deep as I can off the top of my head. Because that's normally when the best ideas come. But I still feel like Trap Tricks can also find a home in this. Depends on how good the normal... Like, the lower level monsters are. And how easy it is to get these out there, too. This is Archfiend of the Labyrinth. Interesting, that's an Archfiend card. It's a very small archetype that doesn't... It's not an actual archetype, but it belongs in many different ones, which is kind of interesting and cool. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. If a trap is activated, you can special summon this card from your hand. Well, this one doesn't say that at all, so this one's obviously much easier to get out. If this card is special summoned, you could set 1 normal trap that can be activated during attack declaration directly from your deck. Really? You can set 1 normal trap that can only be activated during attack declaration. Are they trying to make what is it, Dimensional Fissure or something? Is it a fissure card? It's an old card, so I'm sorry I'm not super I don't remember what it is. Oh jeez. I don't know if Mirror Force counts too. When your opponent declares, it would probably be in here. Justy Break. I mean that. Yeah, it's against a normal monster though, so that doesn't count. I can't think of the dang card though. But it's also really old. That's random. I don't think that's very good. I mean, it kind of makes those cards useful because it's like you just search them from the deck. It's a free +1. Technically, Mirror Force is not a bad card. But okay. Gains 4 attack for each normal trap in your graveyard, which is kind of neat. Also, your opponent cannot target your fiend monsters for attacks except this card. It has 2800 defense too, which is pretty respectable. I don't know if this card's going to be used. That's funny, but I don't know if it's good. This is Ariana, Servant of the Labyrinth. This is a level 4 Dark Fiend effect. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Labyrinth card from your deck to your hand, which is nuts because I'm assuming that's going to be traps and monsters. Which, you know, it's just a Magician's Rod, but better, really. If an effect monster leaves the field due to your normal trap effect, you can draw 1 card. Then you can either special summon 1 fiend monster from your hand or set 1 spell and trap from your hand. It says you can, so you don't have to, which is kind of nice. Obviously, it's very good. So bottomless trap hole. All the trap hole cards are the best ways to use these always. Now, like I said, Epidemic Virus is also a good target for that, but maybe you can mix a lot of this stuff in there. I don't know. This is Chandelier. Somehow I have a college degree. Chandelier of the Labyrinth. This is a level 3 Dark Fiend effect. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. Quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then discard 1 card. Oh, jeez. How harsh could this be? Then set 1 Labyrinth spell and trap directly from your hand or deck. Dude, these Labyrinth traps must be insane then, because there's no way. If an effect monster leaves the field due to your normal trap, you can add this card to your hand. I don't like this card off clip. Going -2 to be ashed. No, you get to set it directly, so you can't be ashed. I mean, that's kind of nice. But it just feels way too risky. I don't think that's worth it at all. To go -2, or I guess technically -1. It depends on what the traps look like, but not so good off, just reading it. Stove of the Labyrinth. This is like a really funny archetype. This reminds me of like Alice in Wonderland with the way it is so far, and maybe like even this looks like the cat that smokes the hookah. In any case, you can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. Quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the field or the graveyard, then discard 1 card. Again, set 1 Labyrinth spell or trap. So again, the same effect. If an effect monster leaves the field due to your normal trap, you can special summon this card. This one adds it back to hand. This one special summons. There are all these different levels too, which is so bizarre. What a weird archetype. I don't know what my opinion is on it. I can't tell. I'm not. It doesn't seem bad, but why would they? That's just strange. Okay. In any case, this is Cuckoo Clock of the Labyrinth. Okay. This is level 1 Dark Fiend effect. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. Quick effect, you can discard this card. This turn, while you control a Labyrinth monster, you can activate 1 normal trap the turn it was set. We'll see what the traps are. I hate archetypes that bounce around bad things. It just annoys me. It's like this card is used to solve the problem, and it's like, well, the fact that you have this problem is probably going to lose you duels anyways. At least that's my thought train. If a card is sent to the graveyard in order to activate a Labyrinth card or effect or normal trap, except this card, while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this to your hand or special summon it. If a card is sent to the graveyard, well, so I mean, it sucks that this isn't, you can send this card from the hand or field to the graveyard, because theoretically you could discard this, special summon it back, use its effect to have a trap. Like, I feel like that would make the card good, but I'm not super sold on the smaller ones. The top level ones are good, but yeah. And I'm not seeing where the advantage is coming from. Like, it just seems like you're negging a lot in this deck. A lot. The obligatory field spell that every archetype has to have now. You can only use a first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. This is Labrynth. Kind of funny. If you activate a welcome Labrynth normal trap, you can make it gain the additional following effect. Destroy one card on the field. It's always kind of well, I mean, it makes sense if you're going first, but it is kind of wonky that I was going to say going first, but like I said, it's trap card, so I guess it works. And it is one card too. It doesn't target. It does destroy, but most cards don't have destruction effect anymore. That's a very old. They usually don't have that effect at all in cards. If you activate a normal trap, except a Labyrinth card, excuse me, you can special summon one fiend monster from your hand or graveyard. So that's how you're getting the big guys out mostly. It seems. There's a lot of cards. Jeez. This is Labyrinth setting. Quick play spell. You can only activate this card once per turn. You can target 2 of your Labyrinth cards that are banished or in your graveyard. Shuffle them into the deck. Then if you control a Fiend monster, you can set normal traps with different names, except Labyrinth cards, equal to the number of cards that was shuffled back directly from your deck. Oh, whoa. Now this makes a little more sense. So, holy moly. You could target 2 of your Labyrinth cards that are banished and or in your graveyard, and then you get to... But you have to control a Fiend monster, which kind of sucks. But you can set normal traps with, literally, there are so many normal traps in the game. So that's just busting the door wide open, obviously. So let's go back to the smaller ones, because this makes a little more sense in context now. So this one's not good, because you want to be able to quick effect to special summon it. See, that's the unfortunate part. Now, it's a quick play spell, so a lot of the times these are going to come back, but you want to be able to use these effects the turn. You don't want to have to just do this, hope your opponent, hope a normal trap, you're able to use it every time to bring this back, and then use the quick play spell without any disruption at all, which is easier said than done. Plus, these are going to be set, so you can't activate cards. Now, quick effect, you could send this so that they can, so you can activate one this returns. It's I don't know. It's you don't want to, jump through that many hoops for good card effects. Otherwise, eventually, they're just not going to be worth it. But, of course, this is a good effect. Plus, it's 2 Labyrinth cards, meaning they could be traps, too. This is a great card in theory, and that's about as far as I'll take it. Now we're here at these illustrious trap cards that you're negging to, basically, to get to. Sometimes worse. Okay, so you can only use the first and second effect once per turn. Welcome Labyrinth. Special summon one Labyrinth monster from your deck. So it's literally, it's like the artifact card, basically. Okay, also until the end of the next turn. Jeez. You can only special summon monsters from the deck or extra deck. You can't special summon except fiend monsters, which is theoretically fine. I'm also thinking about, there's a couple things that come to mind. So Sacred Beast, obviously, is one of those. It's a fiend archetype, but is, jeez, I can't believe I can't think of this name. Jeez. It's it also uses Layer of Darkness quite a bit. Decatron is what's that? What is the archetype? Infernoids. Are they fiends? They are fiends. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're not going to be playing the smaller ones, because they just don't seem that good. The high level ones are good, or at least the first high level one is good. The other cards are pretty decent too. And especially if you think about it this way, because it's unfortunate that the one that tributes Monster Gate is limited to 1 now, or it may have even been banned. It's either 1 or banned, which is super unfortunate. Because that would make the quick play spell much easier to activate, because you're probably going to mill a bunch of those cards, especially in Infernoids. But okay, I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. If an effect monster leaves the field, you normal trap while this card is in your graveyard, you can set it. So pretty cool. You're gonna have a lot. See, the thing is, you're gonna have a lot of access now to the good cards, meaning that I don't know what the use for these are. Now this one's good because it adds Labyrinth cards from your deck, and then it just comes down to those. But not a bad start for sure. It's a pretty decent trap card. It doesn't really do anything too much to like perpetuate your game or to interrupt your opponent, which kind of sucks. But theoretically it could. Especially if you make your opponent neg 1 out of their hand or discard 1. That's probably a better way to put it. Okay. Fair Welcome Labyrinth. During attack declaration, while you control a fiend monster, you can target 1 card on the field, negate that attack, and if you do destroy that target, then you can set 1 normal trap directly from your deck. That's very, very good. But you have to control fiend monsters, so it's all dependent on that. So they're definitely trying to protect themselves, trying not to make normal traps, I guess, OP, or at least in theory, but still. It is a attack declaration, which kind of stinks. Your opponent can definitely read that if you search it out. If not, you're just leaving it out there to hang out dry, which is kind of unfortunate, but okay. Nonetheless, it's a decent effect. Because, again, the normal trap pool is huge. Probably some cards that most people don't even remember, because almost no one plays normal traps. This is Labrynth Barrage. When you activate a set normal trap, except a copy of this card, this effect becomes that card's activated effect. Also, until your opponent's next turn, reduce any effect damage you would inflict your opponent to 0. When you activate a set normal trap, this effect becomes that card's activated effect. But why? What would you need to do that gets activated twice? I don't get it. That one confuses me very bad. I don't think that's good. This is Archfiend Glitch. If you control a fiend monster, target a card on the field, destroy it, then you can send 1 fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard. Are any of the... Well, I guess they have effects in the graveyard, and that's just... It's fine. I wish it was 2. You do have the Winged Beast one that just Icarus attack. You do have the Sword Soul one that also destroys 2. Now you do have to neg 2 or destroy your opponent. I keep saying the word neg. I don't know why. You have to destroy your monster or a tributor or something. I think it's destroy, and then you get to pop 2 cards on your opponent's field. So you don't have to do that. The monster gets to stay on, which is really important because the rest of these depend on you having a fiend monster. This is the most bizarre archetype I think that's been made in the game in a long time. I don't know what to think of it. I don't think it's very good. I guess it could be, but off my first impression, it's very just odd. Let me know what you guys think about this archetype in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.